So if you have any questions, please.
Oh, well, I'm just going to let you tell your story. So we'll start
Okay.
at the beginning when I introduce you. And because, I mean, we've all told our stories to people all along. And so everybody kind of has a rhythm, and I don't interrupt, once you start. So I'm going to put myself on mute when we talk because I'm near a train track. And so don't let that distract you. And then in about 20-25 minutes, I don't know, I'll do that or something. So you have a sign that we have to wrap up soon.
Okay. I don't know if it'll take me that long, but
you'd be surprised how long it takes. We've had people that really needed to go over an hour.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I guess it just depends on how much you feel like sharing, but yeah, everyone's different. Okay, so I am recording now, and if something happens and we need to edit it, that's the beauty of pre-taping. So
okay, good.
Don't worry about that.
I've got other kids at home, so
that's okay. All right, I would like to introduce Sarah. And Sarah, please tell us a little bit about yourself, where you live, what your family dynamics are, and what life was like when you first heard the words congenital diaphragmatic hernia.
Well, my name is Sarah. I'm from McPherson, Kansas. I have 6 children. My youngest is my CDHer. He's definitely a miracle for sure. My story started, let's see, when was that? May 14th, 2018 is when I first heard those words at his anatomy scan. His dad, him and I are not together, but his dad was at the appointment with me, and he realized it was taking a little bit longer for the sonogram, and I just thought they were being thorough. But then they came into the room and told us what was going on and what we were looking at, and they told us about Texas Children's Hospital in Houston and how they were doing a fetal surgery prenatally to help these babies, but in order to qualify we had to have an amnio. So I did the amnio. It took them 3 tries to get the needle into the right spot, and we had to wait for the test results. I don't remember much about that day, honestly, other than crying all the way home because his appointment was an hour, or that appointment was an hour away. So I had an hour drive all by myself just to scream, cry, pray, whatever, to do whatever. And I did a lot of praying that day for sure. It was life-changing, I guess you could say, definitely. I had 4 other pregnancies that were healthy. I have twins, and even with my twins, I didn't have anything like this. So it was definitely a shock to me what was going on, and we found out the reason why we got referred to Texas Children's was one of the doctor we saw in Wichita. One of her nurses had gone down to Texas Children's, and that's how she knew about the fetal surgery and everything. And ended up, when I finally met the lady down at Texas Children's, found out she grew up 10 miles north of where I live. So it was kind of crazy, definitely a godsend that we were put in the right place at the right time. About, let me think, 2 months after we found out about the CDH, I was down in Texas, away from my other children. I had friends and family that helped take care of them while I was down there. I had 2 days of testing at Texas Children's where they did MRIs and sonograms and all sorts of just different testing, genetics. We had to meet with them. And just 2 days just was a whirlwind. We found out we did qualify for the fetal surgery. He was severe. They told me he had less than 15% chance of survival. He had his intestines, spleen, part of his liver and stomach up in his chest, and his heart was pushed way to the right. He did not have any heart defects, which was wonderful, a miracle really. So we qualified for the fetal, and not even a week later, I was on the operating table and they did the fetal. And pretty much what that is they place a balloon in the trachea to help with lung growth. The balloon stayed in for about, I think 8 weeks, and they removed it. And they said usually after they remove it, moms usually go into labor. Well, a week later, I was still pregnant. They were doing just monitoring him, and his heart rate started he was starting to have decels. And so they decided it was time to do an emergency C-section. He's my only C-section baby too. So he's definitely been keeping me on my toes since day one, for sure. So after they rushed me to the emergency room and had the C-section, they intubated him, got him to the NICU pretty quickly. He was in a NICU level 4. They didn't think at first he would need ECMO. He went 5 days before he had to be placed on ECMO. And that was probably the hardest thing. His dad did come down for his birth. Well, did come down after he was born. He stayed, 4 days. The day that his dad left that evening, he was placed on ECMO. So I was there by myself for ECMO and everything else. After he was placed on ECMO, the next day he went and they did his repair surgery. They did say that he was missing 75% of his diaphragm, and that his left lung was a lot bigger than they thought. And they really felt that the feto surgery was a success because of how large his left lung was. But NICU journey was definitely a roller coaster ride. After he was off ECMO and he got his repair, they had to remove the chest tube. They thought he was ready for it. Well, about a day later, they had to put it back in. And I just kind of learned with him to at least a day or two, we have to wait and see how he responds to things. When they do weans on his oxygen or any other type of wean, they always had to wait. I was told myself, wait a couple days, see how he does. Because there was about when he was 2 months old, they decided to skip high flow, and they went from CPAP to nasal to low flow. Well, they thought he was all doing good, and then 3 days later he crashed hard, and they almost had to re-intubate him, which for me was just devastating to see that, because I thought he was doing so well. But just another setback. But within a month after, not even a month later, he was on high flow and then low flow. And he ended up coming home after 19 weeks in the NICU, and just on nasal cannula, low flow, quarter liter of oxygen. He did have an NG tube when we came home, which I used breast milk for. I pumped a lot when I was in the NICU, so I always had a ton of milk for him. One thing that I was told when he was born was that more than likely I would not be able to breastfeed him because these babies need more calories. I was very fortunate when he was 3 months old. His doctor at the time in the NICU told me I could try, and he took right to it like he had been doing it since birth. And ended up my milk was so fatty he didn't need the extra calories. So I was thankful for that. That was one thing I wanted to do. And I actually nursed him till he was 17 months old. So 14 months I got to nurse him, which is longer than any of my other children. And I know that he probably needed that more than they did because of everything he's gone through. I think once we got home, it was me and 2 of my children at home. 2 were still with other family members. And it was interesting for sure doing it all by myself. But it's been, I don't know, it's been definitely a roller coaster ride, definitely a joy to have him. He is definitely a miracle. Now, since we've been home, he now has a specialist that he sees. He sees his cardiologist and pulmonologist every 3 months. Every 3 months, and then he also has a vision. He has to go to the vision specialist and pediatric ophthalmologist, and he sees them about every 3 to 6 months. He does PT, OT, and speech 5 days a week. So Monday through Friday, we are at the therapy office doing therapies for him. We did find out that the cause of his CDH was from a FOXP1 genetic mutation, which caused his CDH. It caused his horseshoe-shaped kidney, his developmental delays, and some of his eye problems too. And so we know that a lot of this is linked now for him. It's like, so it's been a journey. So now we're meeting with a geneticist, and we're meeting with a kidney specialist too, which that's actually where I was earlier. But it's not an easy road for sure, but I get through it. It's harder probably doing it on my own than a 2-parent family, but I do have my children. My other children are older, so they help out a lot. But it's been a journey for sure.
Yeah, that's a lot, but it sounds like he did amazingly well.
He really did. I mean, I fully believe that fetal surgery helped save his life, especially since he came home just on nasal cannula and not a trach or anything else. So
yeah, that's amazing. And breastfeeding, which is always great for these kids. That's pretty amazing too.
yeah.
So how old is he now?
He is 2.5.
So what is he like? Does he play with cars, watch TV?
Well, because of the FOXP1 genetic mutation, he is delayed. So he does like Coco Melon. He loves Wheels on the Bus, which I contribute that to his physical therapist down at Texas Children's. She always sang that to him, and that's always been his favorite song. So if he's mad, I play the song. And it works wonders. He stops crying. But I mean, he plays. We also have, it's called McKids here in Kansas. They come into the house and they do therapies with them too. They do that once a week. So we're trying. I mean, it's an uphill battle, but
it sounds like you're doing a great job. Really.
I try.
Well, is there anything that you would like to tell the other parents who are just diagnosed?
Don't give up. Don't look at the numbers, because like I said, my son had less than 15% chance of survival. And here he is thriving as a 2.5-year-old. I mean, numbers mean nothing to these babies at all. They fight and fight.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah. We really appreciate you sharing your story with us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna clip it there. I just want to say thank you.
Okay.
I know you've been running around today, and I'm sorry this stressed you out more.
No, this didn't. I knew I had appointments. I was thinking that this was tomorrow, actually, and I kind of just, yeah.
It's okay. It's right before Easter, everybody's out of sorts, and with kids,
Yeah.
COVID and everything, really, I've had 3 people completely forget, and the next day they're like, were we supposed to meet? I'm like, yeah. But
Yeah.
when you have kids in life, it's fine. If you can pretty please email me a family picture that we can use in promos, and any pictures of him you want to share, where I'll take myself out of the screen and put his picture up as you're talking about him.
Okay.
It helps people with the visual, especially the ones who've never heard of CDH. We all know,
Yeah.
so we can put it in our heads, but for other people, everything these kids go through is important. And
Yeah.
I will try to let you know about what time. It'll be a telethon once I have everyone's videos done, because it's like a big puzzle. I have to fit everybody's there so that they, fit for each hour. But I really appreciate you so much, Sarah. And it was very nice to meet you.
It was nice to meet you too. Do you just want me to send them through Facebook Messenger, the pictures, or?
Yeah, or email, because you should have my email.
I think so too. Yeah. It's whatever the Zoom link came through. That's your email too? Okay. All right. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Sorry if that I forgot at first.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We're good.
All right.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.